This video is going to go over the apply it problems to get you ready to do your homework. Number one, we want to find the unknown side length. So I just put an X on each of the unknown side lengths. So let's look at the first problem. All right, 7 is the length of the mid-segment. I know that because of the markings on the legs. This is a midpoint and this is a midpoint because of those congruency markings. Alright, now if you remember, the formula was that the mid-segment is equal to base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2. Alright, so in this case, the mid-segment is 7, so 7 equals first base x plus second base, that's 9 divided by 2. There's the setup for this problem. Most of you probably looked at that and could already tell that the answer was 5, but the reason I'm setting it up in an equation like this was for when the expressions get a little bit more complicated than just x, 7, and 9. So you'll know how to do it later on. Alright, I multiply both sides by 2 and I get 14 equals x plus 9, subtract 9, and x equals 5. Second one, mid-segment is 5, so 5 equals base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2. Again, a lot of you will probably be able to spot the answer. These are very basic examples, but your homework is going to have something like x plus 5 and 3x and x plus 62, so it's going to be a lot more complex on your homework assignment. You need to know how to set these up. So the mid segment goes here, and then each of the bases, base 1 here, and the other base was right there. Alright, I'm going to solve this by multiplying both sides by 2. So I get 10 equals 3 plus x, subtract 3, and x is 7. And the last one, the mid segment this time is x. It's equal to base 1 plus base 2 over 2. Multiply both sides by 2. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Alright, number 2. It says MNOP is a trapezoid. I don't have a picture, so I automatically know that I want to draw a picture of a trapezoid. It's just going to be more helpful if I can see what I'm talking about. Alright, PO is the longer base, and then MN is the shorter base. Let's see, does that still say MNOP? Yes, it does. Okay. Alright, and then it says the midpoint of NO is R, so the midpoint right there. We also know the midpoint of PM is Q, so there's a midpoint there. Alright, part A says let M be 110 degrees. What is P? Alright, these are those leg angles, and leg angles are supplementary. So angle P added to 110 gives us 180 degrees. So the measure of angle P is 70. Oops, I wrote that in the wrong place. Sorry about that. Alright, part B. Now we know that PM is the same length as ON. Right? PM being the same length as ON, that tells me that the trapezoid is isosceles. If we know that PM is the same length as ON, then the trapezoid itself is isosceles. Right, that being said, we can apply the base angles theorem. So the first thing I know, measurement-wise, is that angle N is 125 degrees, and I want to find angle P. Well, base angles theorem tells me that M is also 125 degrees because base angles are congruent in an isosceles trapezoid. Then leg angles are supplementary. So 125 added to angle P is 180. So the measure of angle P this time is 55 degrees. All right, let's do part C now. PM is the same length as ON, so again it's isosceles. And we know that from O to R is 8 inches. So O to R is 8. Well, that would be 8. And since it's isosceles, that piece is 8, that piece is 8. So PM is 16. All right, let's look at D. PO is now 40 centimeters. MN is 28. So we want to find QR, which QR, of course, would be the mid-segment. So QR, the mid-segment, is equal to top base plus the bottom base divided by 2. So 68 divided by 2 gives us 34. All right, then we have E. MN is 34. QR, the mid-segment, is 47. And we want to find this side, PO. So we're going to set it up according to the mid-segment theorem, that the mid-segment, which is 47, is equal to the top base plus the bottom base, all divided by 2. I'll start by multiplying both sides by 2 to get rid of that denominator. So I have 94 equals 34 plus PO. Subtract 34, and 60 is the length of PO. All right, F. Let PM equal ON and the perimeter of MNOP equals 68 meters. So PM equaling ON, again, is telling me it's isosceles, and the perimeter is 68 meters. All right, the smaller base is X, the longer base is twice that, so that would be 2X. And each leg is 4 longer than the smaller base, so that would be X plus 4 and X plus 4, since it's isosceles. All right, the perimeter is 68, so if I add up all the sides, I should get 68. So 68 is the sum of X, X plus 4, 2X, and X plus 4 again. So 68 equals X, 4X, 5X, plus 8. Subtract 8, 60 equals 5X, divide by 5, X is 12. Okay, Esteban makes tailored shirts to order, and there's a pattern on the back of the shirt. It happens to be a trapezoid. The bottom edge is 14. Midway, in other words, the mid segment, is 16.5. So what is this one up here? Well, according to our mid-segment property, the mid-segment is equal to the top base plus the bottom base divided by 2. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2, so I get 33 equals X plus 14. Subtract 14, I get 19 is X. So the top edge of the shirt is X. Okay, at this time, go ahead and get your practice set from Miss Boyd and get started on it.